everybody. I'd like to welcome you back to the beautiful JW Marriott here in Phoenix, Arizona. And I have the pleasure of being joined today by Tony Kocurek. Tony, first off, I want to congratulate you on a wonderful term as SmackDown president. Thank you for everything you've done, and especially thank you for your leadership.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. This is my pleasure.
So let's talk about, let's reflect on your term here. What were some of the biggest successes that you had in your term here?
Ooh, successes. You know, I think there's going to be a lot of things that are set into motion right now that we're probably not going to see fruition, for a year, maybe a couple of years down the road. But I think the emphasis that we had this year, in two fronts. One, getting our workforce and getting that workforce in a different way than we've ever done it before. Being open, the Be For All kind of thing that's it's actually growing, and it's becoming more, I don't want to say accepted because it was never really rejected, but it's understood better, I think, now. We all deserve to come to a work environment where we can do our job, do what we're supposed to do, be productive, and then go home and not have to worry about it and be excited about coming to work the next day. And I don't think in the past that's always been the case, but it certainly is an emphasis now. And with the new workforce and the new people that we're getting into our workforce, it's important to them. So, as business owners, we have to make that available to them.
And I think that's one of the things that struck me. I've been at SmackDown for almost 2 years, believe it or not. And that focus on building that type of workforce, a workforce where everybody feels valued and you just want everybody to come home, do a wonderful job, and then come back. And it's just, that's just a great feeling. It's just a great feeling to know that people feel valued and people feel like they can come to work and contribute and just not have to worry about it and feel like a part of a team, no matter their background, no matter their ethnicity, no matter what. They're part of a team, their values part of the team. That, to me, is just a wonderful place to be.
Exactly. I mean, you're looking at the merit of the individual, not anything else. Just the ability of that person to do their job and be appreciated for it. Yeah.
So one of the things you and I have collaborated on your term is improving the awareness of the general public and our industry even of indoor air quality.
Yeah.
Why is that so important to you?
That's a second thing that I think that down the road we're going to see great benefits in. But it's important to me because for a long time in testing and balancing, we've seen how buildings get treated after they get constructed, they're brand new, they're shiny, facility people are all excited about it, and then after 6 months, 9 months or so, they kind of forget it. A lot of the ductwork sits above the ceiling. You don't get a chance to see it. It's not on your mind. But what we see in test and balance, a lot of times because we're getting called out for problems or to try to solve a comfort issue or something, what we find is that it's really basically the equipment that's been neglected and is actually not working correctly. It's really not a problem if you get everything working correctly again. And from a test and balance standpoint, we've been seeing this for a while, but unfortunately COVID, it changed our world in a lot of ways. But one of the things that it did do is it opened up everybody's eyes to the importance of having good, fresh air. And then if you add on top of that, the forest fires and stuff, when you realize that maybe good outside air isn't always good air in the building. So when we're trying to get indoor air quality and pulling it in from the outside, is it filtered correctly? Is the building looking at it correctly? And these are all things from a test and balance standpoint that we've been dealing with for a long time, but now people understand it. And I think what you're going to start seeing is that people coming back to work are going to start being more aware of the fact that they should have good, clean air and they should feel it. And if it's not, it's going to be part of a work requirement. So I think owners and business owners and building owners are going to be more, they're going to be pushed to provide that, I think is what I should say.
And it doesn't hurt the fact that over the last couple of years that there's been more and more incentives public facing that really encourage both public and private stakeholders to really take on this work and really make that a focus of improving the air quality for the occupants in the building. I mean, I have a lot of kind of roots in the public sector, and it really makes me happy the fact that now that's something actually people care about, because it's not just a health thing, but schools, for example, student achievement. I mean,
Yes.
that's a big, big thing because there's so much evidence out there that good clean air and that good clean environment promotes student achievement. And that's just, to me, the stats are there, and making this a focus, I think, is going to reap rewards
Yep.
for decades to come.
You know, before COVID, we were already working with CO2, and there was studies done by UC Davis and some things that you can read in the NEMI kind of stuff right now. If you go online, you can see the studies. But what it brought to light was that actually, you know, you can say, oh, you need to have clean air, but when you can actually quantify exactly how that affects people, when you start seeing test scores go up and go up by the percentage of clean air that's being delivered to them, when CO2 levels are brought down, you start seeing teachers more involved in being able to teach better because they're working clearer. When you can start showing them, there's the evidence, here's the tests that have shown that yes, there is this kind of difference, and it is real, and you can make a difference. I think people start opening their minds. And in school especially, I mean, we're all trying to get our kids today educated as better, you know, the best we can,
do
right?
everything we can.
Yeah, and this is just one more box that they can check to say, okay, we've got a really good teacher, we've got a great teaching environment, and we've got good indoor air quality, so they'll be able to perform.
The little things go a long way.
Absolutely.
Another kind of a passion area for you, work hours and that kind of structure. Tell us a little more of why that's such a kind of a big part of you, not just as a kind of in SmackNet, but just as a business owner in general.
You know, there's several facets to that when I start looking at it, but we have been slowly over time, we've been forced into building schedules that really don't make a whole lot of sense. And when I say make a lot of sense, it's because people that are putting them together, they look at on paper and they think that they can put all these things together, and it does. It streamlines things and it works pretty well on paper. But when you put it into practicality, when you actually get on the job site, it doesn't work that way. And so days or jobs that used to have 365 days are now being asked to be done in 260. Well, technology has helped out a little bit in that, but nothing's really been done in the marketplace to make that difference actually happen. And so what's happening is they're trying to compress these schedules. People are working harder, longer, faster, maybe not as safely as they normally would because they're having to do it and get it done. And because of that, you're starting to see jobs, I don't want to say fail from the beginning, but it certainly looks like that to the owner. You know, when the owner gets that job and he says, oh, we're done, everything's done, except we got our workers coming in here to do a little bit of work in here, and it might be a little cool or it might be a little hot for a while, but we'll get it worked out. That doesn't set well. And you know, and before all of this started happening, all of that would have been taken care of before the owner got there. So when he got there, he walked into his space, it worked perfectly. That's not happening right now. And I think as contractors, especially mechanical and sheet metal contractors, we need to start pushing back on this because it's affecting our quality, number one. Our guys are working in these situations now that are, I don't want to say hostile, but they're certainly not good conditions. And it doesn't work. And we're pushing ourselves into a situation that we don't need to be in. We can deliver a much better product if we could stop this and extend those times to more realistic times.
And I think bringing attention to that subject is because there's so many different demands being placed on our industry, our workforce, our contractors, every facet of our operations. And I think taking that step back and just being realistic about what our members can do, I think that's a great first step into not only maybe improving the quality of life for our workers, but also probably improving the quality of the product we put out.
No, absolutely, absolutely. You know, and there's also benefits mentally to this for the worker in the field because, you know, he's being told you've got 25 days to get this done. Really, there's 30, maybe even 35 days that it's going to take. But you tell him he's got 25 days, and so what is he going to do? He's a good worker. He's going to do the best he can. He's working as hard as he can, and he's getting to day 24, and he's looking and going, my gosh, I can't make that schedule. So now he feels bad. Like, what did I do? I didn't perform. And that's not the case, when in fact he actually did fantastic. So I think we need to look at this in long term, especially right now with the manpower issues we have. We need to take care of the guys that we have working so that we get good productive work from them in a good duration, but we continue to get that down the road. We don't burn them out now and not have anybody, tomorrow.
Well, I'm glad that during your term, the issues that you brought to the forefront, I think they're going to benefit SMACNA, the greater industry, and just frankly, just everybody in general, because it's for the general well-being of everybody that kind of touches us. So thank you so much for your leadership over the past year. It's been a joy knowing you better on a personal level, but just thank you for everything you've done for this organization, for this industry. We are forever grateful for what you've done for us.
Well, I appreciate it, but I got to say I got a lot more than what I gave. I can say that honestly.
Well,
SMACNA is a great organization.
Well,
so.
we're glad that we'll continue to be a part of it, and just thank you just for a great year.
Thanks.
Thank you.